20 minutes before the hour, 2 o'clock, on Radio Pulpit, 657 a.m. with me, Bonolo Nkosi, here on Heart to Heart. Thank you for staying tuned in. Really, really do appreciate it. All righty, so we've been having a conversation over the past couple of weeks. We know that debt is an issue in our country. We also know that God doesn't want us in debt. But hey, if you're finding yourself in debt, there are solutions. There are things that you can do, which is why I'm so happy to have financial advisor Phumelele Ndumo, who's been on this journey with us, talking about some of the things that you can implement to start getting out of debt, because it's not something to go through to stay silent about. You don't want to hide your head in the sand. It's not good for your health, and so the list goes on. She is on the line. How are you doing, Sis Phumelele?
Hi, Bonolo. I would also like to greet your listeners.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. Once again, sure. Last week we went through quite a few of the steps to getting out of debt. You talked about being honest about your debt, taking stock, as it were, and being truthful about anybody and everyone that you owe, including cousins, relatives, sisters, brothers, and then of course completing the table to answer that question, and of course look at the root causes of how does this debt actually make you feel, and how did you get into it in the first place, as well as looking at credit life or credit assurances, loan protection services, looking into those things. Should you really have those? What does that mean? And of course a budget review. You see, I was taking notes.
Yes, no, you've really summarized it very well. Yes.
So today we continue with the last two tips. And by the way, I really, really enjoyed that budget review. You helped me, and I'm sure many, many listeners, just in terms of looking at some of the things that we're spending money on, where we could be saving money, which is really great. So what's next today? Where do we move to?
Okay. So basically today, hopefully we'll finish off with the last two steps.
Yes.
The step 6, now that we've gone through steps 1 to 5, what are the key things that, are we going to apply when we get to step 6? Mm-hmm. The key thing is we are now in step 6. This is when we are now doing what I call debt cancellation. Right. So we are beginning to attack your debt one at a time. Mm-hmm. Remember at this point that you have stopped buying, because your cards are cut up now. So what's the point of trying to get out of debt when you are still continuing to buy things on credit? Mm-hmm. So you have stopped buying, and through the budget review that we did last week, you now hopefully have got some savings coming out of the budget review.
Right.
Even if it's a small amount, it's better than nothing. But also, for many people, there's also some savings that will come out of their credit life review. Mm-hmm. So now that you've done all of that, hopefully we have some 200 rands or so that we have available, which you can now start to use to attack the debt.
Right.
So step 6 is when we go into debt attack mode. Now there are two main schools of thought. You can attack the highest interest debt first. Mm-hmm. Remember that your table should tell you which debt has got the highest rate of interest. So you may start with attacking that. Okay. But I find that many people, that may not be encouraging. Because unless you are really a finance person, what is your highest interest debt? Which tends to personal loans. What if that is your most expensive? I mean, it's not unusual to find somebody with a personal loan of 100,000 or above.
Sure.
So it might take you very long before you see the impact of the debt attack plan. So the methodology that I often recommend to my customers is attack your smallest debt first.
Right.
Because what that will do is, I'm going to go back and use Adrian as an example, one of the people that have allowed us to use her case for everyone to learn from. She had a total of 6 debts, and the smallest debt was a Truist account where she was owing over 3,000 rand. And the most expensive debt was a personal loan where she was owing over 32,000.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
I said to her, yes. So I mean, in total, by the way, all her debts, all of 6 of them, when you add how much she's owing with each one, in total, she was owing 106,000 and some change.
Sure.
So I said to her, you know what, for you to begin to see the results of this debt attack, let us start with your smallest. So
Okay.
we started with her Truist account. Remember that we started working with Adrian in November last year.
Right.
So she fortunately had 300 rand that she had saved from cancelling her credit life policy, because she has life cover and she is a nurse working as a private nurse. So when we reviewed her case, we realized that she honestly doesn't need to be paying 300 rand extra for credit life when she already has life cover, and chances of her ever getting a return are next to nothing. She's been working, for over 20 years for this doctor, and there are other doctors as well. So if the doctor is to pass on, that would not be the end of her job. So she saved 300 rand, and then she used that 300 rand to add to the monthly installment of her Truist account. And the good news is, if she sticks to the plan that we agreed upon, end of February this year, so in a few weeks' time, she should be having only 5 debts left. The first one will already be finished by year. So so her monthly installment on that account was 1,050 rand. She then added the 300 rand savings to make her monthly installment 1,350. So she is now, so with 1,350, and the balance was 3,178. That is why by end of this February, she should have one less debt to worry about.
Sure. Okay.
So, because we started with the smallest debt, she's beginning to see the results very quick. So she's going to send me a statement at the end of this month showing that that account is paid in full, she owes nothing, and the store card has already been cut. So what does that do? So it then leaves her with 1,350 available to attack her second smallest debt.
Right.
And I'm using her as an example because it's easier, for our listeners to understand if we use a real example than, talking principles only. So her second smallest debt is basically her Woolworths account. She's also committed to not buying, food there on credit. Are we still together?
We're still together. Apologies about that. Yes.
No, I thought I had music. Okay. So her monthly installment there was 650 rand. But now, remember, she has the 1,350 available from, paying off her Truist account.
Right.
So you then add the 1,350 that is now available to her usual monthly installment of 650. That gives you 2,000 rand. So instead of paying 650 with Woolworths, her second smallest debt, from March next month, she's going to be paying them 2,000 rand. And the balance owing on that account was 8,000 around November last year when we started off.
Right.
So you can see that this account also is going to be paid off within the next 4 months. So March, April, May, June, she'll be finished at the end of June with the second smallest account.
Oh, wow.
So instead of sitting with 6 debts, she now will be having 4 only.
Yes.
And how much is she going to have available? 2,000 rand. And then she will take it to her third smallest debt. Now, in her example, her third smallest debt was the Edgar's one. And she was paying 1,929 per month.
Sure.
So you add the 2,000 rand to that, and then she can easily double it up to 4,000. So instead of paying 1,929 monthly on that account, she's going to add the 2,000 rand and pay 4,000. The balance owing on that, in November when we started off, it was 13,780 rand. So if you take 4,000 rand and you put into that 18,000, it's only going to take her about 3 months to pay that off. So she's going to start with that in July. So July, August, September. So by the end of September, her third smallest debt will also be paid off. So now instead of sitting with 6 monthly, 6 debts to pay, she now has only 3. So that is the process you follow.
Yes.
So and in her case, she will be finished with all of them by August 2021. So next year, August, Women's Month, and we were laughing about this. She'll be completely debt free and will have 8,000 and some change available now for herself.
Wow. I have a question, and I don't know if I'm the only one who's thinking this.
Yes.
What mindset do you need to take this through to the end? Because a lot of the time people start well, and then they see a nice shoe or they see a nice bag or whatever the case might be, and then suddenly they fall off the wagon.
You might recall one of the steps much earlier was before I even allow you, because time is money, Bonolo. I don't have, time is money, and I think we must respect each other's time. So I want total commitment and willingness in whoever wants help.
Right.
Because, also by people like Adrian and the Retabile, allowing us to use them as case studies for everyone to learn from, it's important that they have the necessary discipline and willingness to work and see the program through.
Right. So
that we break the false understanding that it is not possible to be debt-free. And also maybe, so remember that that commitment was basically me wanting that, they cash up their credit cards and their store cards. So if she wants to go and buy a pair of shoes, it means she must take cash. And you know how difficult it is when you take hard cash to go and pay for that pair of shoes or whatever. But because we use credit cards and we use store buying cards, it makes it easy for us to spend. So I'm hoping that because she cards her cards, and I asked her the question, especially Adrian, I said, you have teenage children, 2 of them, who are still dependent on you. Are you sure that your children have bought into this? Do they understand that as you and I work through this, we need them to support you so that they shouldn't be asking you for clothes and all of that? And she basically promised me that she has her whole family behind her because they're all basically tired of this debt. And again, the motivation for her is that once she is free of this debt, she will have 8,000 available. Her children are already teenagers. So she needs this money for their university fees.
Sure.
And she's also 52. She needs to start saving for a pension. So these are all the things that are part of this debt cancellation plan. I ask you, why do you want to get out of debt? Because if the motivation is not strong enough, maybe, you should be helping yourself or, doing whatever, but, out of respect for each other.
Right.
Once we start with this program, I honestly expect, you to be, because it's for her benefit, not my benefit. Yes. And maybe another thing I can mention, Bonolo, to highlight for our listeners is you will notice that we are focusing on short-term unsecured debt, clothing store accounts, credit cards, personal loans. because those are expensive debts. If you have a home loan or a car loan, I do understand that those are long-term by their very nature.
Right.
And, especially a home loan, it is what we refer to as good debt. So the idea is to get you out of short-term, unsecured, and very expensive debt where, for instance, on a personal loan, you could be paying 27%, on your credit card, you could be paying 23% and so forth. Mm-hmm. Because these are debts that actually, eat up a lot of your money and they seem to last a lifetime. Whereas if you buy a home, generally, after 20 years, your home loan is paid up. If you buy a car, after 6 years or so, your car loan is paid up. But these kind of debts, consumer debts, they tend to last forever. And they rob you of the important things. For instance, in Adrian's case, she needs money for varsity fees. She needs to start saving for her own retirement.
If you've just joined us, welcome. We're in conversation with financial advisor and MD of Tutuka SA, Phumelelo Ndumo, talking about ways to getting out of debt. We've had a question come in, says Phumelelo, let me read it out. I think what they're trying to say, and I hope I'm understanding you correctly here, Sam, what's better between reducing my account to a lower level or cancelling my account, if I have to choose between the two?
Reducing or cancelling? I'm not so sure if I fully understand, but the key thing is, for me, when you say cancelling an account, I suppose our listener is saying that they will stop buying.
Yes.
That is a requirement, that is good. If you want to get out of debt, you must, as a first step, you must cut that shopping card or that credit card so that you stop using it and close the account, which is what I think is cancelling. But remember, closing your account or cancelling your account, you still have an obligation to pay your creditor.
Indeed.
So you must then work at reducing until you pay off your debt.
Okay, so you can stop using it for the sake of your sanity, but that doesn't mean that you are, what's the word I'm looking for, absolved of the debt.
No, you are not absolved of your responsibility. You must still pay it off.
All righty. Let's go through the seventh step then to getting out of debt.
The seventh step, basically is, I find this very motivating for most people. It is when you know what is the final date of payment of all your debts, no matter how many you have. So basically, step 7 is just a table that shows all your debts that you have.
Okay.
It also shows against each debt when you will finish paying it off. So, because, the one thing, let's take credit cards, for instance. Some people have credit cards when they start working in their 20s, and they never stop having these credit cards sometimes until they die. Things like stop buying cards. Sometimes people open clothing store accounts when they start working because they don't have, good clothes, working clothes. They just finished school.
Right.
But before they know it, they are caught in buying clothes on credit until maybe they stop working when they go on pension. So part of the motivation, which is the last step, step 7, is when you've listed all of your debts, you then list when you finish paying every debt off. Like I said earlier, with Adrian, we worked through all her debts and we put a plan for her. The final date of payment of all of her debts is August 2021. It seems far, it may seem not too encouraging, but what encourages her to keep with the plan is that she's starting off with 6 debts, and every few months she finishes 1 debt, and then it's 5, and then 3-4 months later it's the second debt, then she's left with 4. So there are milestones along the journey until 2021. So the last step is just a table that shows when you are going to be finished with all of the debt, and at that point, how much are you going to have back in your pocket every month. again, in Adrian's case, she'll have over 8,000 rand in her pocket. And then this is when we start planning for her to make sure that she invests for the university fees of her children, and she puts money away for her own retirement one day. So, so step 7 is really an administrative step. Yes, but it is what I believe will keep people motivated, because you don't just want to have a plan.
Right.
You must know, when am I going to be? I think it's important to know, when am I going to get free if I follow through with this plan. And that is what step 7 will tell you.
And definitely motivate you to keep going as well, which is great.
Yes.
Sure. This is...
So and I'm sure you can understand, Bonolo, that it is best to have what I refer to as an accountability partner when you are doing this.
Yes.
Because as you said earlier, if you are just working on this on your own, chances are will be like, oh, okay, maybe when you finish paying your first debt, then you get too excited because now, you have that 1,000 and some change to spend, and before you know it, you're now going to buy shoes and other stuff, then you're off your plan. But I believe that, once you've done step 7, for instance, to give you, using Adrian again, all I have now is her first step, which is 2 weeks, is only finished end of February. So I'm waiting for her to send me a statement from 2 weeks showing 0. And then end of June, she'll be finished with her Woolworths account, and I'm waiting for the statement showing Woolworths with her name 0. And end of September, she'll be finished with that Edgar's one, and I'm waiting for a statement showing 0. And then November. So in a way, I am playing her accountability partner, and I don't have to get much involved. I've got in my diary these dates noted, and I'm waiting for the statement. So this is what an accountability partner can do. So, for you, if you're in debt, you share your plan with somebody, and, that person will then note when you finish his debt, and then you must go to them and show them that indeed this is finished. And again, maybe another caution. It is very tempting when you have these 8,000, available to you, to then go back and, give more debt for yourself because now you can afford, resist that temptation.
Yes.
Many people will tell you, I was in debt and I got out and I don't know what happened. I am now back in debt again. You know what happened? Because many people have a plan to get out of debt. They don't have a plan as to, when I am now debt-free, what am I going to do with that money?
Yes.
And believe you me, if you don't have a plan beyond just getting out of debt, before you know it, you can imagine now everyone wants to have 0 debt. Everyone suddenly wants to give you, even those that may not wanted to give you loans before. They now will send you letters. You are pre-qualified. You can get our credit cards for 150,000. You can get our personal loan without even applying 100,000. So resist the temptation to go back. And the best form of resistance is a financial plan that is now meant to improve your financial life. And each one of us is different, but there are basics that we all need. If we have children, we must save, especially for their university fees. If we don't have a home as yet, we may want to start putting money away so that one day when we buy that home, we can at least pay for the legal fees of buying a home. And it's also nice for all of us to have, for instance, money market accounts in case of an emergency.
Yes.
Then we don't go into a personal loan when we hit a crisis, because we all go through a crisis now and again in our lives. And then, you want to make sure that you have a money market account, which is just an emergency account, so that when you have an emergency, you can take care of that emergency. One day we're all going to be old and gray. So have you saved for your pension or not? Because, you can't rely on SASSA. So so this is where we now do proper financial planning for you. Yes. To make sure that we understand you, we understand what your needs are, and using the money that was tied up in your debt, we then use that money to help you achieve your financial goals.
Oh, no, absolutely. This has been so good. It's been such a good series, and I look forward to, we'll invite our listeners and see if anybody is willing to come on board to like Adrian or Thabile and take a journey with us. But yeah, this has been really, really good. Thank you so, so much. We have learned so much. I'm sure there's nobody who's been listening who can't say, you know what, this is where I fit in. That's where I need to take stock and do things a little differently. So much appreciated. May the good Lord bless you. And until we chat again real soon.
Thank you so much, Bonolo. And may I just please repeat your request? You know, I think as South Africans with over 10 million people blacklisted, some people really believe it is not possible to get out of debt. And that is why if there's somebody out there who is willing to be assisted out of their debt, they are really fed up. They don't want to be in debt anymore, and they are willing that we work, you know, with them, and they are willing to be open about it. We take videos, we speak about it. Because I think if more people see people like Adrian, Thabile, and others following this procedure and getting out of debt and starting to do their own financial planning, it will encourage more and more of us to do like them, and we may just, you know, heal ourselves of this debt that we get ourselves into.
No, absolutely. Where can people find you? How can they get in touch?
The best, you know, for this kind of thing is to email us with your details. And our email address is info, info, @Thuthuka, THUTHUKA, hyphen, as in a minus sign, SA for South Africa, .co.za. So if there's somebody out there who says, I'm willing to go on video with you and we do my debt calculation for others to learn from, I'll be happy.
Excellent.
To assist them. Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You are setting South Africans free of debt issues, and you're helping us to do things the right way. We really, really do appreciate it. And may the good Lord increase you and give you more wisdom as you go on this journey. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Bonolo. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.